Hi, this is Crystal Hardison from Southeastern Livingston Center. I'm the director, and you are listening to Local Leaders, the podcast.
Hey everyone, it's Jim Chapman with Local Leaders, the podcast, and I want to make you aware of a fantastic deal they have going on right now at Fit Body Boot Camp in Denham Springs, Louisiana. If you go to the link getfitdenhamsprings.com/local leaders, you can get $30 off of the regular price of $129 for 30 days of classes. Go to the link, click it, sign up. 30-day classes for only $99 through that link. It's a special deal offered to all of our listeners at Local Leaders, the podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Local Leaders, the podcast. And I have a guy sitting across from me right now that really needs no introduction. If you know anything about Livingston Parish, he is everywhere. He does everything. He is Mr. Edvante Showers. How are you today, sir?
I'm well. How are you, Jim?
I'm pretty good. We've been talking off camera for a little while, and I have learned probably a lifetime's worth of tips in about 20 minutes. That's how sharp this guy is. He is everywhere. So Edvante, for the one or two people that may not be familiar with what you do, which is vast, how would you sum up what you do? How would you sum up your company? And I know you have several different roles in life. Is it possible to even sum it up?
The way I would sum it up is say God is good, but
yes, all the time.
Let me start by saying one, thank you, Jim, for at least having me on, and just to be a part of this, to represent such a great parish in our state is always an honor, to be able to do great things like this and to be able to sit down with great leaders. I mean, I know a plethora of leaders who came before me who are all amazing, who are way better than me.
No.
But I guess let me talk a little bit about my company. So Showers Enterprises, which is one which comprise of and owns a couple different entities. We have a coaching entity, but then we have a marketing and management entity, and we also have another technology entity that we work on, and through some other investments and other things that we do through that organization, we're able to funnel great things into our community through it. So I'm excited about it.
It's a beautiful thing. And speaking of community, you're from the Livingston Parish area. You went to Albany.
I'm from Albany. I'm a Albanian. I'm a Hornet Nation
Go
forever.
Go Hornets.
Excited about that. Graduated from Albany High School, so that was amazing.
Yeah, you were an athlete over there.
Yeah, and now I don't look like it. I'm old and fat, and wishing I was back in the gym. I just told my friends yesterday I want to drop my body off at the gym and pick it up when it's ready. So
that's it. If only we could do that. If only we could do that. But you had made quite a name for yourself out of high school. You were a good athlete. I mean, you were way above average, to say the least. Still got some records over there at Albany High School. And tell us about maybe one of those records.
Well, I'll give you one. So in track, I think I ran a sub-5, and I don't think that record's been broken by any male yet at Albany. And then one game, I'll never forget it, against Independence High School playing basketball. I took 17 charges in one game. And I think that was like a school record and almost a state record for something that was done in one game. I don't know. I got to get with Karen Hoyt to verify all that.
Wow. 17 charges, man. That's like a football game almost at that point.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That was hitting me like a hockey puck.
I don't know if I want that record, but that means you're tough. That's what that means right there. And you got to be tough in business, and business sometimes is a tough game to play. And you got to be smart, you got to be tough, all those sorts of things. And that's something that I hope people that listen to this podcast, they're going to learn a little about you, a little about your business, and a little about business in general. So maybe they can take some of that, because this guy is full of good advice. I'm telling you, which is your coaching side of who you are, for sure. But we were talking earlier, and you had mentioned, if maybe let's go back to 19-year-old Edvante. At 19, you didn't picture yourself doing a lot of the things you do now.
Absolutely not. I never would have envisioned being a pastor. Number one, let's start there. That was never in the plan. I was going to play basketball and enjoy college and have a regular college life. But I'm a fourth generation preacher. So my grandfather was a preacher. My uncle's a preacher. My parents are pastors in a different city. So I've come from a long line of preachers and singers. So
it's
my
in the
whole
blood
family
with you.
does that. Yeah. And I actually wanted to become a chief of staff to a president. So I pursued that educationally. I pursued that in my life, in how I wanted to advance. And I had it all planned out. I was going to go to school, get this law degree, become a corporate attorney, run for senator, move away, because I actually did not want to be a senator here in Louisiana. Because, it's more likely if you move up north or to a bigger state, you have a bigger opportunity to be able to do some of those things. But my end goal was to become a chief of staff to a president by the time I was 45. And that's what I was hoping to do.
And you kind of hit the nail on the head with the word goal right there. And what the first thing that impresses me about you, about young Edvante, is that you already had goals even at that age, even though that wasn't the path that eventually you took, which is common, in life. You have those twists and turns and things you never see coming, but you had a goal there at a young age. I mean, when I was that age, for me to think back and think I want to be the chief of staff for the president would seem pretty lofty, almost an impossible goal, right? But for you, not. Yeah. You believed.
Yeah, because most people don't know that it's not the president that is making all of these decisions. There are people that are on his team, right, that are really making decisions and stuff like that, because actually the chief of staff almost have the same clearance as the president. Most of the time, the chief of staff clearance is as high as the vice president. And I actually pursued that. I wanted that because sometimes it's not about being in the front. Sometimes it's the people that's behind, that's making the decision, that's pushing it. So actually, to me, that's actually a business advice tip. I would tell you that you don't go as far as your dream. You go as far as your team. So if you build a great team, then your vision that you have will be great, right? So the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain so that they may run. You got to be critical when you're dealing with who he's referring to. He said, you write the vision, but he told them to run. So he's talking about your team. You got to give them and cast proper vision to your team so that they're able to fulfill and pursue the things that he's placed in your heart to be able to accomplish.
Wow, that's great advice, and I love that quote. So write that down, folks. You heard it here first. And so off you go. You go to college, right? Yeah. Where'd you go to college?
So went to Southeastern, started off, and then moved over to FAMU, and then went to Stanford, and it's
Stanford,
all been great. Yes,
Tiger Woods country out there in Stanford.
Now it's Richard Sherman country still.
Look, and no, when you go to Stanford, you smart. you got a little brain power to go to Stanford, and a very impressive college, and so you get out of college and you go about life. And what was the first thing you did, like when you got to the point that you were out of college and ready to roll? Fit Blendz of Denham Springs can help you with everything from meal prep to supplements. I love it that they serve breakfast all day, in addition to the best ultra healthy wraps you can really get anywhere in Livingston Parish. They are home of the $5 Smoothie Friday and are an amazing sponsor. of Local Leaders, the podcast. Fit Blendz Denham Springs, fast, fit food for you.
I actually started doing some stuff with actors and actresses,
Yes.
which allowed a door of opportunity for me to move into a marketing field that actually helped me work with some great people. I'm gonna say it that way.
Yeah.
Some great people who I won't care to name drop here, but I worked with some great people, and it was able to open a lot of doors of opportunity to get me to now where I actually own a marketing and management firm that deals with NBA, NFL athletes and a lot of high net worth clients.
Yes, and you know, one thing listeners that I had told Edvante today is I have a major interest in that. I'm also a marketing guy, and always have been someone that had a deep passion for promotion. And when I first had heard of Edvante Showers, I researched him like I do everybody. You know, I'm like, who is this guy? And he was actually on a committee that I was on. It was Link Up Livingston. Shout out Link Up Livingston. We're doing beautiful things.
Love
for
them.
Livingston Bears. Yes. And so when I did that, I dived into, I guess, his marketing side of what he does, the promotion side of what he does, especially online. And I was totally impressed, totally blown away. Right. And I was like, wow, this guy, he knows his stuff. and he does indeed know his stuff. And it made a major impression on me because it's not too often that I get to kind of talk that lingo. I almost get overexcited like a kid at Christmas time, because I'm like, this is somebody that, you know, they understand what I'm saying when the importance of a presence.
Yeah.
In anything you do, but especially in business, is major.
Absolutely.
Right. You know, there's a saying, and fake it till you make it. And I agree with that in some ways. Some ways I disagree with it, but you've got to believe that you're someone even before you're someone, if you're ever going to become someone.
Absolutely.
This is my opinion. And I'll tell you what, you're a guy that has really just risen through a lot of hard work, a lot of, you know, knowledge just from your schooling in general, but also I'm sure you were self-taught a lot of things, probably trial and error, right?
Absolutely. So this is something that I think that media outlets don't capture about me because they look at one facet. But I would like to share, like, I didn't grow up in a dual parent home. Well, I'm not going to say that. I grew up with a mother and a stepfather. Mm-hmm. My real father wasn't in my life. I didn't meet him till I was 16. He died when I was 18. And that played a big part on how I felt about a lot of things in life and how I navigated in life. Until I came about 27, I learned something about myself. I learned that your evolution and advancement is found in your ability to be authentic to yourself. And sometimes you have to deal with the pain of people absence versus the consequence of their presence. And it actually helped drove me to something different. It gave me a new passion and pursuit for something greater. And I had to learn that about myself. I actually had to begin to like myself and love myself. And I think that that's a business principle as well as a spiritual principle. So, because you got to deal with them on both sides. From the business side, I think that most businesses don't have identity because the owners fail to build the proper culture that is passed on to their team. So they don't get the results that they're expecting because they have not passed the culture down to the team and to the management and to other leaders. And then when you look at it from a personal standpoint, is that many times people can't advance in themselves. They can't mature and grow and matriculate into things that they're called to do and walk into purpose, is because they're busy battling their own thoughts in their mind. They're comparing themselves to others. And I believe that comparison is the death of progression. And so when you begin to compare your business, your ideas, your ideology to other people, you stop making progress in your personal life to be able to pursue and become the things that you're called to do.
Wow. You are absolutely right. You know, you're almost saying you got to look yourself in the mirror and you've got to accept, yourself and love yourself, because if you can't love yourself, there's another old saying, you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. But it's a hard thing to do, right? It's a hard thing to, especially as business owners, because we're very independent, right? And it's hard for us to stare at that mirror and find our flaws. And I had another business owner on this show said one of the most profound things I ever heard about business, but it was so simplistic. He said, I asked him what his key to success was. And he said, well, one day I learned that as a business owner, I'm not great at everything. So what I did was I figured out what I was great at, figured out what I wasn't great at, and then I hired somebody who was great at it.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe you're great with numbers and you're a business owner, but you're horrible with social media. Hire a social media person. Don't be hard-headed and think that that's something that you're great at.
Yeah. The key to leadership is all about influence, right?
Yes.
And so when you are a leader, you're either two things, either you positional or you persuasive. And most leaders don't understand the difference, because when you're positional, you actually have to tell people what to do. So you only get their gift. But when you're persuasion, you get to influence people what to do. So you get their heart. And when you get their heart, you get their buy-in. They'll start doing things that are kind of outside of their job, but it's have the ability to help your company, grow your company. And I think that the root of leadership, so if I was to give the Edvante Showers definition of leadership, I would say that leadership is the ability to influence a people or individual or organization to move towards purpose. And the way you do that is through the spirit of persuasion or the spirit of vision casting properly. So I think that's where I am. Building great teams. If you build amazing team, right? Taking everyone's ability and moving forward. TEAM, taking everyone's ability and moving forward. So if you build great teams and you build great people, big people go do big things. So ultimately your organization or your business will reap the benefits of building great people. So as a leader, I spend more time influencing and building my team. I pour into my team. I equip them to be better leaders in their personal life as well as their businesses, so that when it comes together in our church or in our organizations, they're prepared to be able to help carry the load of however big it's being built.
Yes. Wow. Woo, I'm out of my level today, y'all. I can't add or anything to that. But what I will say is, number one, I agree 100%. And I think it's a buy-in. It's a buy-in from your employees that in your vision and in your dream. When I look for people to help me here at Local Leaders, the podcast, I want them to buy into this as if it's their business, because it is their business. They're integral in my success. I can't do it without them.
Absolutely.
And I want them to believe that. So, for me, when I'm looking for someone, they've got to have a love for this parish, and they've got to have a love for business, and they've got to have a love for local business and small business and private business owners. And if they have that, that's a big part of what they need to come on board with this company. Yeah. And then it's my responsibility to do just what you said do, and that is influence them in a positive way and get that buy-in from them of the overall vision of the company. And then greatness happens, right?
John Maxwell said that any leader that has no one following him is only taking a good walk.
Yeah.
So if you want to be influenced by greater, you have to accompany yourself with great leaders. I devote a lot of time into coaching. I believe this. Now, most people will completely disagree with me, but I believe that everybody in your life, you need two people. You need a therapist and you need a coach. And that's whether you're in business, whether you're in ministry, in your personal life, you need both, because a therapist deals with your past and a coach help you with your future. And I believe that if you want to grow, you want to develop, it's going to be found in your ability to surround yourself with wise counsel, people who will help you deal and manage the pain of your past, but also people that will speak to your future and help catapult you to going to the next level. Because a coach never get in the game with you, but he does give you strategy from the sideline. And the issue is that most people in life, we don't receive information from coaches because we look at people that they're on the sideline and they're not in the game. But the issue is that most most coaches have been in the game before, so they have previous experience that is able to help you and develop you from a different standpoint, and they're seeing stuff that you cannot see. And I know most of the time, if you ever been to any athletic game, you've always find that there's opponents from both teams. So one fan is cheering against you and one fan is cheering for you.
Yes.
And you got to be able to discern those voices of who's your opponent and who's your fan. Because the issue, and I talk about this in my new book that's getting ready to come out later this year, it's called The Battle of Success, is that the biggest problem with success is success produce fans and not friends. And you got to understand, how am I going to build the boundary? Dr. Henry Cloud have a book on how to have tough conversations. And when you're having tough conversations, you got to be able to discern who's a fan and who's a friend, and basically place them in the right area that they belong.
Yes.
If you're going to grow your business, you got to understand who on your staff is really managers or who is there to collect the paycheck, because it's going to determine their ability to grow and advance in your company and help you go to the next level that you're trying to go to.
That's right. That's right. BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Business owners, we're passionate about what we do, and we have that passion there. And when you're doing it right, your people buy into that, and they take ownership of your company. And when they do, that's a great thing.
Absolutely.
If you're a business owner that can motivate people and lead people into that. And then there's some, just like you just said, and they're there because it pays the bills.
Yeah.
And when they punch out and they go home or whatever, your business is not on their mind. And
absolutely,
that there's a big difference in how much you can grow with those two different personalities working for you.
I tell you what, this is a statement that I say all the time. Ignorance is expensive, and the price that you will pay, you'll never know.
Yes.
And it's
Amen.
so expensive that it'll actually eventually cost you in your business by having people who fail to grow and fail to learn and become stagnant. Because what it does is it stunts the growth and expansion of the business. And I'm not going to go that deep. We're going to move on. I know you got some stuff for me. I'm not gonna go that deep.
I do, but I do want to ask you this question since we're on the subject of coaching, and that is one of the things with coaching that I've noticed is there's a conglomerate of coaches. It used to be not as much. You know, you ran into people every now and then that were well-known business coaches, and now it seems like it's getting a little watered down, which is great for someone like you because you're the real deal. When I look at business coaches, and this is no offense to anyone that's not someone that's owned a business that's a business coach, but it's kind of important that you've owned a business and you've kind of been there to me to be a business coach. And a lot of people that I've seen lately, it's, they're younger, they're 21 and they're a business coach and they've never owned a business. They went to a class and they became a business coach. Unless you're being mentored by like someone like you, that would be something that I wouldn't take an interest in. Now I would hire Edvante right now to be my business coach because you've already taught me a lot and we ain't been here very long. So I can't tell you how valuable that advice is, and some people are going to hear that today. It's going to make a difference. And that's what it's all about. I can tell just by sitting down and talking to you today that you're someone that you want to make a difference in someone's life.
Absolutely.
It probably led you into your church, which is City of Hope Church here in Denham Springs, right there on Range Avenue. And I want to talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a big project for you and something where you're doing for the Lord. And let's talk about how that kind of came into play.
Oh man,
in your
that's
life?
crazy. So I'm going to kind of elaborate kind of on both. So coaching is considered a knowledge-based business.
Yes.
And so if you want to receive knowledge, you got to have somebody that has experience,
Right.
because experience produces knowledge.
Yes.
And if you've never had a lesson learned, then you can never actually teach a lesson until you first learn the lesson. So once you learn it, you begin to be tested on what you learn. And that's a whole fun thing. But the City of Hope is absolutely amazing. I actually love, we call it Hope Squad.
Yes.
I love Hope Squad. They're amazing, and they come from everywhere. I mean, we have people come from as far as Napoleonville to our church every week here in Denham Springs. And we're very appreciative of that and that influence that our church has had and made a difference right here in the community. We believe at our church that we build communities, give hope to families, and we change the world. We are a fine mixture of ministry and marketplace. So our church don't just do ministry, but we believe that we should own businesses. One of the goals here that I sat down with Mayor Gerard and talked about, and even Buddy Mincy about, our church is actually bringing industry here and economy here, because I wanted to build a church that I would actually want to attend. And
imagine that.
And a church should be missed if it's absent from the community. And I want to make sure that what we're building and what we're empowering here in Denham Springs, in Livingston Parish, is something that will be missed if we were absent. We have two core convictions, and we believe it's really simple, that we believe that God wants to change your life. And number two, we believe that God wants to use your life to change and bring hope to the world. And through that, we've built an amazing group of people. Our church is actually in the middle of pursuit of purchasing a new property, and we're bringing a lot of business and industry here through the purchases of that property. We even just sat down, and I know some people saw our state representative Buddy Mincy announced this, but our church is actually getting ready to launch a business boot camp where we have a 12-week process that you'll sit down with some of the greatest business leaders that will help you build your business plan, help you develop your business. We even got business coaches that are in that industry that are going to let you shadow them. And so if you want to start a coffee shop, there you'll be able to sit down with someone who owns a coffee shop and be coached and spend time with them. And we help pour into you and develop you and grow you. And through that, we'll actually do some match funding and help you, give you some startup between $3,500 and $10,000 that our church is going to invest into help bringing businesses into this community. So that's one of our biggest things that we want to do. And it takes partners, and it takes leaders and people that can help build that out. And we're just excited to be able to do it. One of the girls on our team, and I got to give her a shout out. She'll mess with me. I don't. She's a CPA. She actually works for Exxon here. Her name is Brianna Gibson. And then our chief of staff, Eugene LaFan, who actually is an engineer and works for Energy. We've actually came together. We all do different businesses. They are big in real estate and own vending machines and own rental cars that they do. And they're really big on Turo and stuff like that. And we're bringing all these business owners together. We have a business owner that own a daycare that's in our church. And matter of fact, I believe this, every seed reproduces after its own kind. 80% of our church is actually business owners and have successful businesses, because it's a reflection of who I am. Yes. And I brought those business owners together. We sat down, created a plan, and now we have a 12-week program that is open to the community, that we want to allow people to do it. It's free. We're not even charging them to be able to be a part of this 12-week program. All we're asking is that you attend. The investment will be is that you come up with your own strategy, your own plan that we coach you through, we walk you through, we develop that process. But all you got to do is sit down with us, complete the 12 weeks, and then we'll return an investment into you, basically by match funding and some other things that we work out to be able to help bring that economy here to Livingston Parish. And we're actually getting ready to open it up where we can do it across the state.
That is that's unbelievable. And look, you tell me how I can get involved in that any kind of way, because that's up my alley right there. And we share both of us a big passion for business and private business, family-owned business. You know, someone going out there and making their own way. And when you basically get these resources together like this. This is major stuff, Edvante. These are business leaders from all over. It's a boot camp to where you sit down. The investment on your part is your time. There is no fee to be a part of this program. And you cannot buy, folks, that kind of leadership and guidance that you're going to get. Look, there's a lot of people out there. I say this all the time. Probably the number one reason people don't start their own business is insurance. And the number two reason, because they have an employer that pays their insurance. Insurance is so ridiculous that they can't afford to buy their own insurance, and they got 3 kids, and then so they're stuck, right? That's how they feel. And then the other thing is the knowledge aspect of it. That's what you're going to give them. This may be the difference between someone taking that leap or not. Steve Harvey had a speech called Jump. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but he talks about God and his guidance in your life, and he says he's not going to let you fall. You make that jump, he's going to open that parachute for you, but you got to jump. You got to jump, and you're going to hit some rocks on the way down, but you got to jump. Yeah. And that parachute's eventually going to open, and you're going to soar. Yeah. True, 100%. But that your program is going to give people the tools maybe to jump, or maybe they've already got the business, but it's failing and they can't figure out why. Sondra Richard has been in the business of selling homes for over 20 years. This award-winning realtor brings the perfect blend of professionalism, integrity, and client satisfaction to every buying and selling transaction. A passion for both her clients and her community makes Sondra the perfect choice when buying or selling your home. So if you're in need, call the Cajun Lady, Sondra Richard, at 225-955-5484, or visit her on the web at sondrasellshouses.com. Sondra Richard, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.
Yeah. And we have some people that are on our team that are, especially on this team, that is available to do assessments to be able to make sure that your business is thriving, right? So we're not going to just let you have a 12-week program, give you money, and then send you out by yourself. Right. We're actually, one of the things to be able to, the way the funding is broken up is we actually have one of our coaches that will stay with your business for 1 year to make sure that your businesses are being successful and seeing the profits that it's supposed to see, and helping you reach your goals. So we're not going to put you out there and set you up for fail and give you a 12-week class and say, oh, you got it all in 12 weeks. It's
Where my ticket?
It's impossible. But we want to set you up for success because I believe that Livingston Parish is ready for that. I actually told Mayor Gerard and them that our church will be one of the largest employers of Livingston Parish. Yes. And that's actually my goal. That so Johnny Malazzo, I know you looking out for me. I know he's a good friend of mine. I can say that. But we're actually coming, and we actually want to be able to do that, especially with the development and the growth. I mean, we got 40,000 new homes that are supposed to be built in Livingston Parish this year. Yes. So I mean,
that's a lot of church members.
What an opportunity. I mean, what an opportunity. One, to love on people, but two, to bring such a change here to Livingston Parish. And I believe that Livingston Parish is actually prepared for big business, but we still have a lot of small minds, right? Right. And so that's one of the things that I would tell anybody, that when you find a mentor or coach, it's easy for somebody to say that they have a great idea. So they have a big mind, but a small heart. And so you got to find a mentor or coach that has a big heart, that actually has a mantle to be able to pour into you and to open that heart up to you, and not just give you an idea that is going to make you run with it and you go astray. So, but I believe that here in Livingston Parish, we have an amazing opportunity to capitalize on some amazing amazing industry that could be built right here in Livingston Parish that will completely change our economy. And I know we like small town. I'm from Albany, so we still got one red light. So we like real small town.
Yeah.
But I believe that there's got to be industry here because people are ready for something bigger. They're ready for something greater. And the way we do that is by building it together.
Yes, I agree. Man, I agree 100% with that. And you're really doing an amazing thing for this community with that program. One thing I will do is Edvante will get me all that information. We'll link it. We'll, of course, promote this on all our media all the way up to and through. Whatever you need from us here, we'll be more than happy to do and promote that. That is a unbelievably beautiful program personally for me because I am so passionate about business, and I think that that's needed in this community. I don't see a whole lot of people reaching out and doing things like that. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And to your church, City of Hope, for sure. Now, I want to back up just for a second because I know that you didn't, you may have came out the womb like with this mindset, but maybe not. I'm sure along the way there were a couple people that probably mentored you and really helped you, and we want to shout them out and let me know some, who made a difference in your life that to this day you really lean on for that mentorship.
So I will say this, and I am eternally indebted to Dr. Darius Daniels for how he have poured in my life, groomed my life, developed my life, and he didn't just do it from afar, but he made himself tangible to me, and I cannot express how much life change he's brought to me from learning how the importance of relationships and learning the importance of how to manage my time as a business owner, because many business people fail because the people that matter the most get the least of them.
Yes.
And so
wow, that is so true.
And
yes.
So Dr. Darius Daniels, coached me and really helped me and poured into me to be able to see that and to be able to help manage that. So I'm eternally indebted to him. He's actually a business coach and he leads some industry, but he pastors Change Church. So if I'll give him a shout out because he's amazing at what he does. But he's Change Church. They have 2 campuses in New Jersey, one in Atlanta and one in Orlando, Florida.
Wow.
But he's an amazing guy, amazing gift. So I'm definitely grateful for that. And then I really, really, really have to say thank you to Dr. Henry Cloud for every book he wrote, for every word of life he spoke, for every conference he had, for every Zoom call I've been on. He has been a great gift and vital to the growth and the advancement of my life. And then there's some local people here, like Pastor Fitzgerald Pitts and Jarvis Crockerham and Pastor West, who have been flat-foot amazing at what they've done, and Scott Blestow and some of these guys who are really local, who have really poured into me. And I cannot be more grateful for people in every facet that have taken time out to just speak a word of life over me.
As people cross your life, you don't realize the influence they have. And that's why it's important that you surround yourself with people who have good intentions and want the best for you, because I can't speak for you, but I was not always a perfect person, and nor am I now. And but there was a point in my life where, for me, and I know you have a beautiful bride, I met someone that for me changed my life. And you just mentioned that when you're a business owner, you give up a lot of that to chase this dream, let's say, and you have maybe a wife there that. How important is that support from? And we'll use your beautiful wife as an example.
Victoria, listen, her name's Victoria, and Victoria is such an asset to my life. And when I say that, that the Bible says, "Man that found a wife found the good thing, but he obtained favor." And so when you find a person that can actually help bring you favor in your life and actually help push your dream, that she became so selfless to allow me to go and do me, that she gave up some of her own things and put some of her own things on hold just to be able to say, hey, you go do you. We're going to build this together. We're going to go after this. And she's way more of an introvert than I am.
I would definitely not call you an introvert.
She is definitely hates the spotlight, and she had to step out of her comfort zone and step into some spotlights that she was just not prepared for, not ready for, didn't want, still don't want.
Yeah.
Just to allow me to do me. And
that's love, man.
I cannot say thank you. Thank you does not express the gratitude and appreciation that I have for her. Even my own daughter, Sage, gives up a lot of time that I could be giving her to be able to allow me to go change the world, to be able to allow me to go empower people and travel and jump on a plane and jump off a plane and find things and research things and read and develop and allow me to continue to be educated. So I could not do this without her push, right?
Yeah.
Without her strength. Like, people don't know how strong she have to be able to allow me to do me.
Yes. Yes.
Because the pursuit, and I say this relationally, and it doesn't matter what area you're in, whether you're a business owner, you're a pastor, whatever, the pursuit of other people will come after you, even knowing that you have a spouse. And so it takes her being just genuine, like, I'm confident in who I am, and I'm confident in what I have, to know that nothing else is going to get in the way of this. He's going to make sure I'm good, and he's going to take care of me. So when I think of Victoria, only thing I can compare her to is a queen.
That's beautiful.
Nothing less would be worth the comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really is, there's an old saying, behind every strong man, there's a strong woman, right? And it's 100% accurate, because business owners, successful business owners, usually are pretty driven, and they have goals. And look, throughout this entire podcast, you've used the word goal. How important is goal? Is having goals, things to attain? How important is that to not only your life, but any business owner's life? William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance in Denham Springs can service all of your insurance needs. Offering auto, life, health, and commercial insurance, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance is a proud supporter of Local Leaders, the podcast.
Well, if you never set a strategy for where you're going, you'll never go anywhere.
Yeah.
So the goal is actually supposed to be a tool of where I'm going. It's supposed to be a goal. It should give you guidance.
Yes.
Goal and guidance should go together. So it should give you guidance and an outline to where your pursuit and your purpose is going and pursuing to. So the key word of goals is go. The issue is that people never go. So their dreams and their goals never become tangible and reality, because all we do is dream about it. And so our dreams ultimately turn into nightmares because we never go.
Yes. God, that's 100% accurate. And we talked about earlier that the difference between being good and being great a lot of times is pulling that trigger. A lot of people have that idea. There was a guy at one time that was sitting on a couch, and he said, I wish I could figure out how to change the TV from my couch. And then there was another guy who invented the remote control, right? He actually followed through. Many people had that thought. One guy followed through and invented that. And follow through, to me, is one of the most important aspects of business, because if you if you set that goal, but then you don't hold yourself accountable. Yeah. I mean,
good
it'll never
cannot
happen.
be hidden. That's one of my biggest statements. If you're good cannot be hidden. When you're communicators like us, right?
Yes.
People don't remember speeches. If I ask you, one of the most famous speeches, I Had a Dream,
Yes.
by Martin Luther King.
Yes.
If I ask you to quote that speech to me, most people cannot quote that speech, because great communicators, people don't remember speeches. They remember quotes and stories. And so when you can give people great stories and great quotes, what that do is that make you memorable. And when you become memorable, you become tattooed to people's hearts and their minds, so that you become unforgettable. And when you become unforgettable, you become good. And good cannot be hidden, because it'll make you a household name.
Yes. Speaking of good, this podcast is pretty good. I'd like to just throw that out there. That is so true. And so my heart almost hurts sometimes, because there's people out there that you want to help and you try to help and you give these, but they have to believe it themselves. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yep.
And so you give them all those tools, but they have to believe, they have to accept that, believe it, and trust the process. Nick Saban. We'll talk about Nick Saban for just a second.
Roll Tide now.
Look,
for all you LSU fans, I will tell y'all I'm Roll Tide all day. I just want y'all to know. Now, forgive me for that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm Livingston Parish.
I'm not a Nick Saban hater, and I'll tell you, he is the best coach ever in college football, period. And LSU had him at some point, and I'm proud of that. And he left, and now he's at Alabama, a great team as well. Please don't give me hate mail for that one. But I will say this, Nick Saban, I read his book, and he had mentioned that he has a process. He said when he recruits these players and they come in, and he tells them, he says, look, we win. We win because of a process. So we know the process works.
Yeah.
All you've got to do is follow the process, and we will win because the process works.
Yep. Systems.
Systems. Just buy into it.
Yeah.
Buy into it. Do your job. That's all you got to do, and we will win. It is so common now with a lot of business owners that they don't have any process. I always say a business owner knows exactly how much money he's making at all times. A lot of them know how much income they're making, but they can't tell you how much money they're making, right? Their expenditures, they have no idea. I mean, they don't know what's going, their percentage of profit, they couldn't tell you, but they can tell you what they have coming in every month.
Yeah.
Good business owners know that percentage of profit they're making. They know exactly how much money they're making. And it's because of a process. It all starts with that. You agree?
I agree. Matter of fact, since we're speaking of Nick Saban, one of my favorite quotes by Nick Saban says that we win, or he actually said, we win and I win because the team never quit. So the reason that Nick Saban's wins are accountable, it has nothing just to do with him.
Yeah.
It has to do with the team.
Yes.
So because his team never quit is the reason that the whole organization receives wins and titles and championships. And so that's a good word for you business owners, that when you have great systems, because your business will rise and fall based upon the power of the systems. So if your systems are not strategic, if your systems are not strong, if your intake process is not good, if those things are not managed well and become systematic, they got to be at an ability where anybody can do it. So that when they step in, my 2-year-old should be able to step into a process and be able to move into it to make this business, this organizational work. You do it through funnels, you do it through systematic trainings. All of it have to be the same in order to get people to work together in unison.
100%.
So your biggest growth is going to be found in the base of your biggest system, of how easy the system is to manage. It must be duplicatable.
Yes.
Great organizations are built through duplication. The reason network marketers make more money than NBA and NFL players is because they created systems that are easily duplicatable.
Yes.
And when you create a system that's duplicatable, it's easy to become that franchise. It's easy to become that corporation, because all I'm doing is I'm taking this small system and going duplicate it in multiple cities.
Yes.
And so if you build systems that are easily duplicatable, there's nothing can stop you. The reason that they were, and I guess I'm a pastor, I got to make a Bible. The reason that they were able to build the Tower of Babel is because all of them were communicating, speaking the same language, meaning that the system that they had of communication was easy duplicatable, whether it was going up or whether it was coming down. The issue is that in most businesses, your communication going up and coming down is not easy duplicatable, because the people that are in between are not translating your vision properly. So the systems that you have in place have to be very critical and key so that they're easy duplicatable amongst your team.
There's an arrow right there, and that arrow points up. And the reason that arrow points up is every time I come in here, I want to remember 3 things. Number 1, that's my symbol. Everything good is up, right?
Yeah.
Everything good is up.
Yeah.
Everything down is bad. If you're going down in business, if you're looking over your charts and that chart is going downward in your business, that's not good. But if it's going up, it's good. Jesus Christ is up. That's good. That's where you want to be. You know who's down there. You don't want to go down there. But when I sit somebody down in that chair across from me, I want to bring them up. And that's what that reminds me when I walk in here. Go up.
Yeah, I think this is why most, if you ask my coaching opinion of why, and I've been to some big corporations, if you ask my coaching opinion why most businesses are not going up in this environment, I would say it's because what they failed to do is they failed to build people and manage systems. Instead, they manage people and try to build systems. And it should be absolutely in reverse, because if you build people, people will manage the systems. But you cannot manage people, because when you manage them, people become, they only can go to one height because you're managing them, which means that you're on top of them. So you're holding them down. So then you don't get their creativity. You don't get their best ability. You don't get their proper communication because they feel weighed down.
Yes.
And when you manage them, you put pressure on them.
Yes.
But when you build them, you allow the pressure that you actually can put on them become bigger. So their capacity is what I call one of my things. Capacity becomes bigger, so they're able to handle and manage more. But you got to build people.
You have to build them and bring them with you.
Yeah.
You know, you're not, I'm not going up and you're helping me to go up. We're going up together.
Yeah.
You know, you're building this church together, and you shouted out your staff and how important they are to you.
Yeah.
And you're all in this together, right? This is a team. This is a family. And once people realize that they're part of that family, they buy into that.
Yeah.
Because they believe. Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word.
Yeah, because I always say I don't want people to bring their talents to church. I want them to bring their heart.
Yes.
Because if you can change their heart, you shift something greater into them. And we want people to go after greater. We want them to pursue greater. The issue is that our systems, we never find out what's missing. The reason that AMBER was created, which was the American Missing Broadcast Emergency Response System, AMBER, was created through a girl named Amber Hagelman, who went missing in her local neighborhood in 1996. But because of the system of AMBER was created by her mother, that now over 1,082 people have been found because of a system that was built based upon one girl, that it affected all of America because of a system that was put in place. And now we're able to find people and we can see what's missing simply because of a system.
Yeah. What we're hammering down here, folks, is the importance of system.
Yeah.
And you never know when that system will make the biggest difference between going to one level and not. Don't limit yourself in your business. You know, set your goals. Hold yourself accountable. Everything in the end, you know, goes from the top down. So that leader, the one at the top, the business owner, it's his responsibility in the end to motivate that team, to make them feel like family, just like at your church. You know, these people are family to you. They're not employees.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. We do life together.
Yes.
You know, and that's what one thing is big for me, that we do life together. When it comes to ministry, we do life together. When it comes to business, we build together, right? So it's kind of a difference because ministry is about relationship and having what Dr. Darius Daniels called relational intelligence.
Yes.
You have to learn that either people will help you thrive or people will help you survive. And you have to understand how to build that boundary between those who are there only for their survival, which means they're there to collect the paycheck, or people that are there to help you thrive, which means that they're here for the long haul. Whether it's rain, sleet, shine, or snow, we're here to build this thing. We're here to go to the next level together, and we're willing to be able to build our capacity to do greater.
Amen. I love it. And So we've been going almost an hour, and I could go another 10 with you, but I got to respect your time. But I will tell you this: I do want to mention you have a podcast.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do, you send me any links or anything, I'm going to link a ton of things to the description of this video, and that way people can go check out whatever you want, whatever. All these wonderful things that you got going on with your church. Tell us when are your services, those sorts of things.
Yeah, so Sundays we have a 10:30 a.m. Every Sunday. During the week, we don't really do service because we believe that it's easy for people to grow in groups. So we do small groups throughout the week that are easy to plug in. We call them Hope Crews.
I love it.
Our crews get together and they're activity-based, educational-based, and Bible-based. So you have an opportunity to do life with other people in different areas. And you can easily find our church is Hope Nation DS, so Hope Nation Denham Springs per se, .org. You can find the church there, or if you want to find out more about me and my books and what I'm doing and where I'm going to be or where I'm speaking at and all the other stuff, you can go to advanteshowers.org and you can find out anything you would like to know, or if you want to join one of our coaching programs and stuff like that, you can do that. You can also find me through any social media platform at I am Edvante.
I love it.
So
I am Edvante.
Yeah, so everything is there, and I would love to connect with especially some of the local business owners. I think that on the business area, I deal with so many people that are far off. It would just bring me life to be able to do it with some of the guys that are close to here.
Yes. Yeah. So, and with what you've heard today, if you're someone that is struggling with your business, or maybe you feel like you're doing everything right and there's just that missing piece, check out that boot camp. Go, message Edvante on his social media and reach out to him, local folks. And, what you heard today is probably he just gave you a little nugget. He gave you a little nugget of all the knowledge that this guy has. I have been honored to have you on today. I mean that, man. This is something for me that, some podcasts you walk away from and you think, I don't know why I deserved that, but I am so blessed, and I feel blessed to have you on. 100%. You taught me a lot of things today. So thank you for that. I appreciate you very much. As all of you know, we are thankful for our sponsors. We could not do any of this, Edvante, without all of them and their support. I also want to thank the local community for liking, commenting, subscribing to our podcast. We're just absolutely blessed here at Local Leaders. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman, reminding you, love your community, support local business and local churches, just like Edvante's City of Hope Church in Denham Springs, and keep leading. Thank you very much.
Thank you.